Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. 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 See, my Holy Spirit is activated. Is yours?
It been activated.
It's activated.
It just didn't like that.
Don't be a hater, because my Holy Spirit is lit. Anyway. All right. What is up, everyone, and welcome to That Kind of Love podcast. Are you going to make any noise?
I'll get it. Let me get it ready.
Make some noise. I know you're going to make me so mad. I'm going to try to fill your throat.
But you're going to hurt the mic.
Yeah, I'm going to hurt you. Okay. I'm so sorry to the people who don't know us and just happen to click on this video because we really are this weird. Just saying. But anyway, welcome. We back-ish. So we've been gone for a
long time. Long time.
Very long time.
Long time.
Long time. Wow. All right, so what's been going on? Just growing a baby, you know.
You fat now.
You see how you do me? You see how he do me? You better stop playing the internet. People gonna get you.
Don't be calling that girl fat. She ain't fat.
She got
she
your
a black
baby.
Queen. That's your big head baby in there. That's the reason why her stomach big.
You already know. So I don't even know why you start with them. You don't even know why you start with them.
Don't at me, bro.
But since we last talked, what did we do? We haven't done one since the pandemic, have we?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We took a
long hiatus.
we had to renegotiate our contract.
We wanted more money.
Yeah, we wanted more money.
But yeah, I don't think we've done one since the pandemic. That's a long time, like a year and a half. Wow.
For those who have been listening to us, we were renegotiating our contract.
Yeah. So a lot's happened. But anyway, like we were saying, surprise, we're pregnant. Yay.
Got a little baby.
We're having a little baby.
Got a little baby.
A little baby.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, 8 months right now?
34 weeks.
34 weeks. About to be 35.
Next.
In like 2 days.
2 days.
Like on Monday. Be 35 weeks. And yet, still haven't figured out how to be pregnant. Yeah. So, when it's your first time doing something, people be asking you like all these questions.
Oh, yeah.
And you be like, I don't know. Like, I'm just living.
I'm pregnant.
I mean, I don't know. Like, what you want to know?
Because I know I'll be asking. I have no idea. Like, nothing about kids, taking care of them.
Like,
babies.
Yeah.
Babies.
Literally nothing.
Nothing. And I asked her, and she like, I don't know, this is my first time being pregnant.
Like, we in this together. We know we have the same amount of knowledge. Well, I know a little bit more, but for the most part, we have the same amount of knowledge.
Don't play. She has been in daycare, the industry, for at least 8 years.
Well, I know, longer than that. But that's what I'm saying, like...
And how you don't know nothing about no kids?
I don't know nothing about pregnancy. I don't know everything
That's
about
the same
newborns.
thing.
I don't know everything... No, it's not. First of all, I don't know everything about newborns. Because we don't get kids until... I mean, they're not newborn anymore. They're like 2 months.
Newborn.
That's not a newborn.
When is the moment you're not new no more? You're not newborn no more. You just... You're old born.
A month.
That ain't right. You old born?
That ain't right.
You old born then?
Yeah, you old born. You just born.
You just born now.
You just born now. It don't matter. You here. Get with the rest.
I don't like it.
Get with the rest. But which brings up an interesting point, because having a baby during a pandemic is wild, right? So I have to go on pretty much all my doctor's appointments by myself, right? Which sucks for us because our dynamic, that was quick. One of our cameras went out. But because of that dynamic, because of our dynamic, Trey is more of the question asker, and I'm more of the like, We good? He healthy? All right, we gone, right? Which is an issue when you've never been pregnant before. And for me, it's so much of like, that's just how I am. Like, I don't really be going into depth about questions. Like, if my doctor asks me a question, I'm just gonna answer it, and then I just go on about my business. So like a whole bunch of I'm like, she's like, have you had any contractions? I'm like, what is that? Not what is a contraction, but
what is it for
how am I
you?
supposed to know? Like, you didn't tell me what it's supposed to feel like.
Does it feel like a pinch?
Like, what is that? I don't know. Like, they're like, it's gonna hurt. I'm like, a lot of shit hurts. I be hurt when I have to wake up for work. Like, what you mean?
Not in your heart, baby.
No, my body hurts. So I'm like, what does...
How you wake up when you gotta go to work?
Oh. Oh.
Babe, it's time to get up and go to work.
Everything hurts. So I don't know what that's supposed to be or what that's supposed to mean to me.
The funny thing is, how you really wake up is not that far away from that. Hey, babe, you got some good rest? What's wrong with you? I'm sleepy.
I'm always sleepy because I have to get up 50 billion times in the morning to pee.
How long it take you to get up?
That's 5 minutes
Bro,
already.
Like, that is, okay. It's not good to laugh at pregnant people, but that is...
Y'all should have seen, first of all, setting this up, I had to sit down and my daddy, my own daddy and my own husband just standing there laughing at me. Ain't nobody helping me. Ain't nobody helping me get off this couch. This couch is deep. Like, once you sit down, like, non-pregnant Logan had issues getting up.
That's because non-pregnant Logan made a whole dent in the couch because she sat in the same place every time.
It's the best spot. Doesn't matter. But aside from that, we're super excited. Like, we're really happy. We did the gender reveal, which was rigged because we already knew. Like, the moment, because we did a blood test.
Yeah.
So, we found out early. The moment we could find out, we were like,
we found out like it had to be we found out we were pregnant at 7 weeks. And then it had to be like shortly after that because we went to the doctor.
Well, yeah, we couldn't go. It wasn't that early. It had to been like maybe 15, 16 weeks.
Okay.
So it was.
Well, when did we start telling people? Because that couldn't have been.
I don't know.
Because at 15 weeks, you had to be showing a little bit.
I didn't start show. Well, what 15 weeks is how many months?
Almost 4 months.
I didn't start showing until like 4.5, 5.
Oh, okay.
Because I was still wearing my regular clothes. Like, nobody knew until... Yeah. And then even when we told people, I could have went like 2 more weeks, 2 or 3 more weeks. So I didn't really start showing until later on, so...
Real quick, before we actually moving further, doesn't my baby look good? Like, the pregnancy making her look real good. Look at that. Oh, precious.
You just rub my head.
Oh, precious. You look good, baby.
Thank you. Does this have a timer? I mean, does it tell you how long we've been talking?
No, it goes by seconds. We've been talking 248 seconds.
That's no use to me.
Divided by 60.
I'm not. But thank you, babe. Thank you. I be trying. Not really. So yeah, we did a gender reveal, which was rigged because we already knew. We already knew what we were having, but let me back up just a little bit. So when I found out I was pregnant, it was great. We were happy and stuff like that. But I had already put in my mind that I was done planning parties and spending unnecessary money. And, when a baby comes, obviously you start thinking about money. You be like, I don't want it. No, we're good. We're fine. So literally up until, because the gender reveal, we did it on a Saturday. It was like a Saturday. Because it wasn't Sunday because some people couldn't come because they had to work. So it was a Saturday. Literally, that Wednesday, I called my sister-in-law we call our sister-in-law. And I'm like, I think I want to do a party now. We love you, Lindsay. We do. And she's like, are you joking? I was like, no. I was like, oh, we want to do a party. She's like, okay, cool. Like, clearly y'all can't make up your mind. But when you want to do it? This Saturday. Oh, okay. How many people?
So about
What y'all gonna eat?
about that whole thing with asking questions, I'm the question asker, and she just say she want it, and I don't know. You
Y'all
just
get
gotta
it
figure out how to
together.
get it together.
Get it together.
So yeah, and I had no clue of what was needed at a gender reveal because I've been to none. I've been to no baby showers in my life. Maybe one of our friends.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And usually they're not co-ed type situation.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
we went to Jasmine's.
Yeah, that's the one I said.
That was so long ago.
Yeah.
But so we had that like thrown together real quick, and honestly the only reason why we had it was because I wanted our family to enjoy the experience with us. So that was fun, and we're just telling them we had a gender reveal. We're having a boy, just in case y'all want to know. We're super excited. So
He gonna be named after his daddy.
and
You
two
can-
other people.
You can. You can cut this part out. I don't want them to know the name yet. I don't know.
If you follow us anywhere, you know the name.
You gotta follow us to know.
Suspense.
Just make it go black at that point.
Anyway, so that was nice and fun and cute. We appreciate everybody. Then we had a baby shower, which was amazing, right?
Thank you again, Lindsay. Thank you, Chelsea.
Good looking out. Mallory, too.
Thank you,
And my
Mallory.
brother, because apparently
Thank you,
he
Lawrence.
designed it, but we ain't going to bring that up no more because if you know him, you know why we just not going to talk about it no more. He going to forever be like, he's the greatest. So, but he is, because that was amazing. It was amazing. And we appreciate everybody who came out and drove by or stayed. So,
That was awesome.
yeah, it was really cute. I'll show a picture like right here. Yeah, but yeah, it was fun. I guess I say just to say that it's amazing and it's wonderful and we're blessed because not everybody gets to have this much support when they have children. It could be the first or the 50th or the 60th. That's super dramatic. But my point is, we appreciate all the support that we've been getting because, wow. Because if it was up to us by ourselves. We love you, Q, but you've been mad at us. You would have been so
Come
mad.
out like,
like this what y'all got.
can I have better parents, please?
And we have amazing, like, the village we have is, family and extended family and things like that, like our cousins, like god sisters, our godparents and things like that. But shout out to our friends. Like, shout out to our friends because when you have life changes and they are on board with you to like help and like do stuff, gifts, like providing, like just helping. Like, 'cause some of our friends have kids, so they're like, oh, hey, you need this here. You can have it. Because they could have easily been giving that away to somebody or not even mention it because they wanted to keep it for themselves, for like later or anything like that. But for real, shout out to our friends. Y'all are amazing.
Yeah, we have a great village.
We're definitely at the age where either you got it or you don't. And
We don't like asking.
yeah, so it's
We
like
really
you don't.
asking.
Yeah,
I know I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to work on that. But people were like, yes, like, what do you need?
Yeah, for sure. So they're amazing. So shout out to them. All right, so I mean, I guess that's we pretty much caught everybody up. Let's see. Oh, real quick. I know we've been talking about this a lot, but like I said, this is our first experience. We've never had a child. We never realized how much children cost, right? So before they even get here, and I have good insurance, y'all. Like, they're good insurance, and I'm still like, why does all of this cost so much?
I'm gonna just tell you, it costs you about $2,000 to have a baby.
To deliver.
For it to be delivered.
But you still have to go to countless doctor's appointments that you usually have to pay for. And then don't get me started if you have a doctor that's in the medical center, because now you have to pay for parking every time you go to that 20-minute doctor appointment. Yeah. It's wild. And then it doesn't help for our situation in particular, because I am technically high risk. So because I have lupus. So with that, I have to see multiple doctors. Really just 2 right now, but ain't nobody got time to be paying for all that.
Well, he gonna pay it off.
He gonna make him do the yard.
He gonna pay it off some way, somehow.
He like, look, I didn't ask to be here. Like, why am I being punished?
We technically...
Well, technically, it seems like nobody had a choice in this decision.
We love you. But we would have pushed you back a little bit.
Don't be listening to your daddy. Don't listen to him at all.
I'm happy with the decision we made. Well, I'm happy with how things turned out.
You're so bad. But all in all, I just to say this, because this podcast is, I need to explain what this podcast is about again, since we've been gone forever. But this podcast is about love and relationships in particularly. But we do get into into purpose, life goals, and things like that. Things that help us help our relationship stay strong and work well.
You may want to move the mic because your necklace is...
Oh, dang. But it is about love and relationship, but it's about life. It's about everything that helps keep our bond together strong through our marriage. And just our relationship in general. So we will be talking about a lot of different things, but it is focused on love and relationships to help people our age, young
at heart.
We almost 30, y'all. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But still fairly young. And a lot of people our age are, around this age just start to get into relationships and really start to think about marriage. So we're here just to help y'all out. So if you're thinking about having a baby or it come up on you, we letting you know now. It ain't cheap. So, but also it's one of those, like, this is so contradicting what I'm about to say. You can never be really prepared for it, but you can have some type of something.
Yeah.
Like, don't have nothing to give and then try to have a baby.
Yeah.
Because financially it's going to stress you out. Because there's so many there's so many things you have to get for the baby before they get here for them to like have things, but there is a whole bunch of stuff you don't need. So, make sure you got people around you, do your research before you make this life decision, because what money? Oh, you thought you had some? It's gone. It's gone.
But for my fellas, it's gonna be all right. As God provides, so it's gonna be
always.
All right.
So,
it's gonna be all right.
Because that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that. I
touched on it on my video. You can go to my YouTube, Trey Hodge.
Yeah, for sure.
I talked about it a little bit, but Mama, you said we're gonna do a podcast about it, so we're gonna do a podcast about it.
Yeah, we'll have a faith podcast.
Faith for a baby.
Faith. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but it's gonna be something. Oh, excuse me. All right, so we kind of got all that out the way. What's up with us? What's new with us? What we've been doing? Because we can have a whole podcast on what we've been doing, because it's been almost 2 years, Jesus. But we're going to get into the topic of today. And the question that I want to bring up was, I don't even know how I came up with this. Usually I'll just see a video or something like that, and I'll just write it down, take a mental note, and I'll be like, that's a good topic, because I feel like a lot of people struggle with this. And the question was, are you not settling, or are you expecting perfection?
That sounds like the same thing.
It does, but it's not, right? So, let's define settling real quick. So, the definition that I'm going by, settling, is a matter of like, oh, I like him, he's okay. I mean, he'd be here, but I wish he would do this a little bit more. Or like settling. I'm talking about settling in the bad sense. Everybody has to settle because nobody's perfect. But I'm talking about settling in the bad sense, where you just give up your moral or like the higher ground, or maybe your independence, or you're giving up something that's very near and dear to your heart because you're like, I don't think I'm going to find anybody else who I think likes me this much, right? Which is usually the person not really liking you if they don't decide they want to change or be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like a harmful, like abusive relationship. It's just one of those like it's other things you wish they did. Like you wish they went to church with you more, but you figured, oh, but he's still a good man. Like he paid the bill, so like I'm gonna just let it go. But I'm like, that's settling, because it's like you could just easily find somebody else who's like the same type of believer as you to, or somebody who's willing, type situation. You gonna find somebody who just ain't willing at all, right? And then it's the settling.
You going the opposite direction,
right? And then it's the other settling for men and women. Sometimes people want children, and then they find somebody that they think is a really good person, or a really good woman, or a really good man, and they're like, I don't want to give up those qualities, so I'm going to settle and just not have kids. That's a huge settle. It's not abusive. It's nothing like that. They're being upfront with you, but you're completely settling and wasting years of your life because you think they're going to change or do something, right? Yeah. And then the expecting perfection is you get somebody who ticks all your boxes, but they're not taking them high enough for you. So you're like, you could be better, type situation. Like, if that's making any sense, right? Without giving a full-blown example, because I can't think of one, and I don't want to. Type situation.
What do you mean? So expecting perfection, like you go to work, and I thank you for that, but you don't like grind. You're not hustling, like
yes,
type thing.
Or
like we barely making it.
Yeah, exactly. So for people that's in a relationship, it's a show called Married at First Sight, right? Okay. He has no idea what I'm talking about. but if you know, you know. It's a show where these like counselors or relationship people, they get random people who say they're ready to be married, and they pair them up with somebody who they think will be a good fit for them. Okay. Yeah, it's wild, right? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But they get together, and it's always that one couple. It's more than one this season, but it's always that one person who's like, there's nothing wrong. Like, literally, there's nothing really wrong with the person that they got paired up with. They just have this super high expectation of what they think they want, that everything that other person does is not right. So instead of them being like, they label it as, I just don't want to settle, so that's why I'd rather be married to anybody else but you. But what they're doing is expecting perfection from this person that has been presented to them, who other people are saying, like, I think y'all would really be great. Like, it's okay if you don't work out, but you're being mean and kind of belittling because your expectation in your head is not what this person is being. Or they're actually really close, but they just don't look the way you want them to look. Yeah. Or like, they don't have the job that you specifically want them to have. Like, they have one and it makes money, but you're trying to get that exact amount. Like, oh, you need to make 100,000 more than me type situation. Like, that's what I meant. If that's like a better example for like perfection. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I want to bring that up, because I think for this generation, because we were just discussing this, and I was like, dang, that's a really good point. I think for this generation, we are the self-love generation. So, like, all we see on social media is like, hey, you need to love yourself. If it don't, like, what is the word? Like, if it don't, not fuel you. Basically, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Just go. Like, leave. Like, if it don't suit you or something like that. I really cannot think of the word. But like,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but
I mean, I'm not asking you to
no, I know.
think of the
I know.
word,
I know.
but you know what I'm
just
saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I guess in my thought, like, I'm guessing we're gonna talk about this. Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to get into because it's like, I think the whole self-love thing is just a mask for, because it sounds way prettier than not settling or I'm looking for perfection. Like, I'm really looking for everybody who checks every box. But if you say I'm in my self-love, but don't come for me. There are some people who do need to actually go through that process because in order to actually be in a good relationship, you do need to love yourself. But then there's some people or gurus who take it overboard, which then leads people to be single unnecessarily long or longer. Or then they have people who are looking for the relationship, but they're never going to find it because they're so on their high horse of self-love that if anybody does one thing that they feel like is interrupting that, which is just them being human, you drop them like a dime, and now you looking crazy and you bashing every dude, or the dude is bashing every woman.
Yeah, I think that also comes from like so many past mistakes and so many past issues with whoever they were dating.
Yeah.
That they're not going through the actual steps of fixing the problem. They're just like, I'm gonna worry about me. I'm gonna focus on me. I've been hurt, all this stuff like that. But they're just like, and I understand it. They're just like, yo, let me take care of me first. But like you said, it just goes too deep sometimes.
It's too,
Or people are going overboard. Like, I'm only going on vacations by myself.
It's like, love yourself, queen. Love yourself, king. Don't let them do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely, don't let people play you. Like, that's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is just know the levels to it. Like, there's levels to it. And
balance.
so like
balance.
So for like single people, because some single people watch this, it turns you into a serial dater, right? So now you look up and you be like, damn, I dated like 5 dudes, and like, well, I can't find nobody. That's why men ain't. Or like, dang, I done dated like 5 girls. Like, all these girls want is free dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, yes, there are some people who are like that. Don't get me wrong. There's some weird people out here. That's why I was like, I'm glad I'm not dating because I be out here struggling. But also, let's look back at ourselves. Like, are you? Because also at our age, when you don't date seriously for a while, I think that's why I encourage people to date seriously when they're like 25, 23, because at least you got some practice in you. You know how to. Sharing is caring. Like, compromise is good sometimes. Like, you get to learn all those skills before you get to this age where now you're just rushing into stuff and hoping that people are perfect because you ain't got time. You too old to be trying to babysit people.
Yeah, and you feel like that they should know this stuff already, but the fact is they dating a whole new person. Like, they are themselves, you are you.
Exactly.
How are they supposed to know you already,
And that's where the self-love high horse comes in, right? Because then, excuse me.
I could have did that better.
I know, but I didn't think I was going to do it. So that's where the self-love high horse comes in, because you're so focused on being your best self that you think everybody is that same way. So then you run into people who love themselves, who are who are doing right by people and really good person, but because they're not on the same level of like self-reflection as you are, you're like, oh, I don't have time for this. Like, you're not great, and you missed out on a great person because you're so high on your high horse about this whole self-love thing.
They annoy me, and that's when you were talking about the serial dating. I feel like a lot of people may put people in rotation just based on what they feel and what they need at the time.
Yeah.
And they may feel like that one person can't give them everything, so they just date each person that gives them the one thing that they're looking for.
Yeah.
But that's also that's self-love, like not having the patience to be able to figure that out, because sometimes that stuff takes time.
Oh, it takes a lot of time.
That takes time to learn that from people. from them to learn you what you are longing for, not what you expect, but what you long for based on your personality, your love language, so they can give that to you. But if you are hopping around to other people, which I'm not saying dating other people is bad. I'm just saying if you got people in a rotation.
What is the reason?
Yeah, what is the reason behind it? Are you saying, no, I'm not about to go on a date with them because they don't do this, and right now this is what I need? If you're internally saying that, because I don't know if anybody actually says that stuff out loud.
Serial daters do.
Okay, well, yeah. If you are saying that out loud, that means you need to check yourself. Like, are you allowing yourself to see what this person is going to be able to bring to the table? Are you going to put time into it to cultivate that, to build that, to grow that? Because it takes time.
And I think, and I'm glad you said that because that was not on my mind at all. I think that's the whole point of this topic is that you need to give things time because that's when you would know, like internally, that's when you would know if you are expecting perfection from this person or if you're not settling. Yeah. Right? Because And that's perfect for people who are single. So when you're dating somebody, give it time. That's why I'm like, I don't know how people be rushing into stuff. Like, just got together, now y'all got a baby. Just got together, now y'all married. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, that does work out for people sometimes. But you didn't even give it time to see if, that was your thing. Or you start dating somebody and then you're like, a month later, you're like, nah, we broke up. She wasn't it or he wasn't it. And I'm like, why? And then you can't even give me a real answer. Yeah. Or you give me an answer that I'm like, that could have been fixed. Like that probably could have resolved itself in like a week had y'all just talked about it. Like,
and that's a whole nother conversation. Communication. Like, because you are so deep in self-love, it's like I'm doing what's best for me. When you see something that happens that you don't like, you just like it needs to be fixed immediately. If it doesn't get fixed immediately, then I'm out. But that also has to do with hurt. Because if you've been hurt in the past, you may be thinking, I need to protect myself, which makes sense. But if you are trying to date, then you have to find a balance with that.
Yeah, and which brings me to my next point. All right, and we're back. But yeah, so that brings me to my next question. It's a matter of like, are you single and or unhappy in your relationship because everyone you date is not good enough, or whoever you're with is horrible? Or are you not a good partner?
Dang. Okay.
Right? So, and I bring that question up because a lot of times I understand that it's hard dating. It's even harder to be in a relationship. We've been in one, so we 100% understand and get it. But sometimes, hear me out, you are the problem. It's not the people that you're dating.
I can already see the edit. You are the problem. You are the problem. You are the problem. You are the problem.
But I say that because like I said, it's weird because sometimes too much of a good thing is still bad for you.
Okay, go into that.
So I go into that because like people, we're going to compare it to food. Why? Because I'm always hungry, right? We're going to compare it to food, right? So people be like, I eat nothing but fruit all day, every day. Because in their mind, they're like, this is a good thing. The fruit is good for you. Fruit has a lot of sugar in it, you guys. If you eat certain fruits all the time, you're going to destroy your body. There has to be balance.
God damn.
I have to say it that way because... So I say that to compare it to this self-love high horse. Self-love is good, but too much of it will ruin you because now you're looking down. It makes you look down on everybody else, and it's not always intentional. Sometimes it just happens because you get into this whole like, I love myself too much to be dealing with broke girls. Or I love myself too much to be dealing with somebody who can't.
Or I like my routine because I think Drake said that he likes the way his day-to-day goes, and for somebody else to come in, they have to be like on point, on key to come in and alter that because he has a good routine. I think of like not talking about strong, independent Black women or anything, but a lot of women that decide, hey, I'm going to focus on myself, they end up achieving a lot, which is amazing to me. And they just don't have the tolerance to deal with people or men that aren't on that same level. You know, it's a lot of people, a lot of women that deal with that. Like I've become very successful. I've achieved a lot, and when it comes to dating, nobody is adding up. But I can tell you, if you seek, you will find. For sure.
Yeah, and that comes with the whole that's people expecting perfection and not, but masking it as, I don't want to settle. I was like, no, you're expecting perfection from people because you think you are perfect.
You think you are perfect.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where the self-love high horse comes, because then you think, oh, I did all this work on myself, so I'm perfect now. So like now, if you still dealing with childhood issues, I ain't got time for it. I already covered my demons. I'm like, but did you? Like, oh, you still struggling to figure out what you want to do, specifically for like a career. You have one, but you still like in turmoil about it. I don't have time for that. I don't want to deal with that. Oh, you don't know how to fully communicate to my level. Because when you go through a self-love transition, you learn how to communicate because you're talking to somebody about these things, but not everybody.
You're talking to yourself.
Well, yes, and sometimes you talk to other people because you're not. People get introduced to self-love from other people. So you could have a support system that's helping you do that. And
then you communicate self-love the way that you communicate.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that everybody's going to communicate that same exact way, And when you
let go of a lot of people because of that, it's because you're expecting perfection on your standard or your level instead of being, and then you mask it as not settling.
But I want to go into, I don't know how much longer you're trying to make this, but I want to go into what you were saying about being a bad partner, because that is something that well, obviously people ain't going people not going to say they shit stink. Yeah, they ain't going to say that. But like I think that is so key to finding a good mate. Because if you're always like, I can't find, well,
so you found, but they let you go. They let you go. That's what happened.
Yeah, they showed you who you really are. You know, they were a mirror. They were a reflection on you. You know, and so I think in the dating process, it's important to not only find, but look within. Because if you are only looking towards, okay, who am I dating? I'm expecting certain things from them. If you're not looking at, okay, I got to expect these same things for myself, you want them to change, but you're not willing to change. Like, you got to ask yourself those questions, because if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to adjust, and if you're just willing to say, hey, I love myself, I'm the greatest, I'm on my high horse.
Not willing to be patient.
Not willing to be patient, not willing to do certain things, then you're going to be stuck out. You're the reason why, in this situation, you're the reason why you can't find, that you're the reason why you're expecting perfection but not finding relationship.
Yeah. No, for sure, because trying to bring relevance to us in particular, I can't.
Well, you can talk about me.
How?
In the beginning, when I would think you were doing wrong all the time, but I didn't realize. But that was okay. It's a little different.
He brought it. Just so much time. Jesus, he brought it up, so I'm gonna say it.
I'm good with it. I'm just saying, you know,
it's not like crucial, but it's a good example because it's on a lower level that people may not realize that it's exactly what we're talking about. So when we first started dating a long time ago, Jesus, like we were like 20.
Yeah.
So a long time ago, still kids. When
we sound so old.
Oh, Jesus.
Still kids.
We were children, but just when you live a certain way for a long time and all you know is like your family and what they do, when you meet people who do things differently, you're like, that's weird. I don't like that. Like you're not living up to this expectation.
That's what normal people do. What I did was, y'all wrong.
Basically.
You wrong.
But yeah, basically. So you think everything is weird or not the correct way of doing things, right? So so when you get with somebody else, you have the expectation of them being just like your family or the people you're always around.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's him. So and this fool has told me multiple times now, like years later, like I almost broke up with you because like over stupid stuff because he had this expectation of perfection from me, which I was doing nothing wrong. I was just not doing it to his standard. So I was like, bro, you could have missed out on all of this, like family, house, baby, like everything, because
I was
you
about
were
to say something nasty.
Yeah, I know. You had that look. That's why I was like, let me just keep
going.
I'm not going to say. I'm not even going to be like what, because now you have to say it. So, but like you could I know you too well. But the point is like that's so minuscule because we were like so young and he wasn't intentionally doing it.
Yeah.
But people now are like at this big age that we are, big age, yes. 30 is a big age.
Okay.
So at this big age that we are, people are still doing that and labeling it as not settling. But now you know, so stop doing it. Like give people a little bit of grace on certain things. You know what your ultimatums are. Like live by those. Like don't not live by them, but.
And I'm gonna touch on this. I'm gonna tell you the exact situation, and I'm gonna touch on this and the way you get past it. Because when you grow up a certain way, you take it as facts, but it doesn't mean it's the truth, right? So for us, our situation was it was on the spiritual side. Now I wouldn't even say spiritual. I don't want to say churchy. Religious side.
Well, tell me what you're about to say.
Okay, so sometimes we would drive by churches, and I'll have like regular music playing or whatever, secular music playing, and we drive by a church. I go ahead and turn that thing down.
Y'all, when he says drive by a church, he literally means just driving by a church.
Yeah, just driving by a church.
Yeah, like we're not going to it.
Yeah.
We're driving by it. I just need y'all to visualize this.
Like you driving? Oh, church.
Yes.
And keep going. That, yeah. So I used to turn the music down. And I remember one time she was like, "What are you doing?"
Because I didn't know. I never correlated the two. So I was
I'm thinking, I'm turning down. We buy church. She's like, are the pastors gonna hear?
I was like, we're not going to the church. I don't understand.
So that's one situation. And another situation is similar. On Sundays, I used to only play gospel music. And during the week, I play whatever. Sometimes I play gospel music during the week, but...
Tell them what you play during the week. Lil Jon, East Side Boys, booty shaking music. The worst type of music.
I knew the words.
It knew every word.
Singing it first, go by a church. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah, shalalala,
You're not speaking in tongues.
All right, we passed the church. Turn it back up.
Booty, 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 booty. Silly.
But like I literally did that, and I just had to get to a point where though those were good practices, those were, I wouldn't even say those are factual. Those were just what I grew up on.
Yeah.
And granted, I was taught this when I was younger, so it had a purpose. But now that I'm older, it's like, okay, what is the real reason behind it? Do I truly believe that God doesn't put certain people in certain places God puts people in certain places. I don't believe that everybody in the secular world are devils or demons or they weren't called by God. I believe that there are some people that God took them this route to get to where they are so they can bless people in different ways. You don't. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, that's what it'd be
like. We ain't got time.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But I had to learn what the truth was behind it instead of it just being facts. So when it comes to you dating and like you expecting certain to be a certain way because that's what you've been experiencing all your life, you have to start to ask yourself, is this just a fact? Is this the truth? Like, what is it? And how can this be changed or rearranged to accommodate for our relationship? So what changed was I realized that I'm
was
full
doing
of
the
it.
most.
I was full of
He was
it.
doing the most.
I was full of it. I was low key being hypocrite because I'm turning down the music or I'm only listening to the music this day, but every other day I'm turning up. So what did I start to do? I just started to listen to music all the time or whenever I decide to.
So to use the terms that we've been using, you realize that your vision of perfection wasn't even perfection.
Yeah.
So so a lot of times people don't even know what their perfection is. They be like, for women, most people have their list. I want him to look like this, be like this, make this
She
much
said
money,
she wanted somebody tall.
and look what I got.
7'3",
I realized that my version of perfection was not true.
7'4", minus 2 feet.
Yeah, but
You also wanted somebody funny.
yeah, I failed twice.
We can cut
Gosh
that out.
darn it!
Damn.
I
sorry.
failed twice.
We'll cut this out.
That's funny. I forgot what I was saying because my husband is rude
You're welcome.
and speaks over me, but it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it is. I think for me, and this is probably gonna be the last words that I have to say, is don't. My advice to help with this, because we did a lot of talking and a lot of like, just the solution to this issue is, how can I word this? I think that people are letting social media expectations determine who they should be with or who they should date. Don't let social media determine who you should be dating unless you're listening to us, right? Because we know what's right. But not even us. This is just informative. Like, these are just questions that we want you to ask yourself, things that you should be asking yourself before you proceed in any type of relationship. For us, we got together so young that most of the things that we're learning and that we share with you guys is like we just learned through experience. It wasn't traumatic or anything like that, but we decided that we wanted to be together. So early in our relationship, Trey, had to realize that some stuff, like his mindset had to change a little bit, right? And there was things I had to work on too. Thank you, because I was trying to find it. There was other things I had to work on too, but pertaining to this topic, he had to learn quickly, like, okay, am I about to ruin this relationship because I'm like, I'm searching for this perfection that I thought I wanted so bad, or like, am I not settling or whatever, or do I want to give this time and see where it goes? But that's because we were young, so I totally get the issue with people not wanting to like wait. But now that you have this information, you can speed the process up. You ain't gotta take as long as we took. You can speed the process up. But the biggest question is, look at yourself before you go into trying to date people and be like, you're not good enough.
Yeah. And measure yourself based on what you want. Like, if you want somebody. No, first of all, I don't get when people say I want somebody that make at least 100,000 more than me. I don't.
That's a
it.
societal thing, right?
Okay.
Which
is facts, but not
okay,
true.
Yes. Okay. So real quick, I want to bring up this little topic because I feel like I have nowhere else to say it. But I saw a post that said, it wasn't even a post. I just thought about this because I was like, dang, that's a good. Like I just thought about that. So for people say that when women have money or at a high standard, they won't date a man who's like lower than them and like help build him up, right? Dang. Yeah, never mind. We'll just scratch that because I really can't think of it. I think it's just more so of like why, like when a woman makes a lot of money, they expect the husband to make the same amount or more. But when a man makes a lot of money, nobody expects the woman to make the same amount. And I think a guy brought that up, and I was like, you know what, that's a good question. I was like, obviously that's just depending on you, because there's some men who want the same thing, who want somebody who has the same amount of money, but for society it's like frowned upon, like when the woman makes more money than the guy. And I'm like, I just want somebody to make some money. Like, I don't care who makes the most and how I get here, it just need to be
Get
here
here,
when
yeah.
I be here
Get here.
type situation. And that just goes back to like the whole societal thing of, don't let society determine your relationship, because half the people who commented on it ain't got no money at all.
True.
Half the people commenting on your relationship ain't never been in one, or they in one and
Don't
don't
like
know or don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or they putting themselves in one and they're not really in one.
Is my boo. Who?
I don't know you. Stalker alert. But anyway, I feel like that was a good combo. Welcome back, Bluff.
Welcome back. Gang, gang.
Gang, gang. All right, y'all. I would do the sound off that I normally do, but I don't remember it.
Peace, love, happiness. If you
If you don't know your purpose,
if you don't know what you're looking for,
it's not what.
if you don't know your purpose, please find out.
Because your life would be
It's
so much better.
Stay swaggy, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.